Oh my god. It just keeps going.
This is a Reevo hubless bicycle, a rare, futuristic e-bike that raised over $6.7 million on Indiegogo before the company up and vanished, leaving everybody who ordered one without a bicycle or asking for a refund.
6.7 million
except
raised
for the
is a
customer
lot.
who bought this bicycle. He sold it to me on
Indiegogo. If you raise that much money, like, that's a big deal, dude. That means people like really see hope or value in what you're about to release.
eBay at a loss after seemingly not riding it at all. From what I can find, of the 2,700 people who ordered a Reevo hubless bicycle, only about 150 actually got them delivered before everything fell apart. And if the things I'm reading about it are true, it might be the worst bicycle ever made. And today, I'm gonna ride it for the first time and find out.
It has no spokes on the wheels.
Clearly,
I wonder
the
what
thing
the point
looks
of that
insane.
is.
The wheel is just this big, open, hubless donut, but there's a reason most bicycles have hubs. It's really hard to do, and they had to make a lot of sacrifices to make the Reevo hubless. And apparently, people were not very happy with it. It wasn't a very good bike. What went wrong with their Indiegogo campaign? Now, as you can see, they spared no expense.
Yo, why does it have no hub?
Video. This guy uses the fingerprint scanner to secure his Reevo at a cafe, only to get a tamper notification initiated by a woman admiring his Reevo. They then make a bunch of claims about the bike, like how smooth it rides and how revolutionary the pedal assist is.
The woman admiring his Reevo.
Join the Revolution, and join they did. But that was almost 5 years ago. Today, the comment section's full of would-be customers desperately trying to contact Reevo. And if you visit Reevo's social pages, it's just more of the same. But they're desperately trying to
oh my god, I want to
Reevo.
read this.
And if you visit
You absolute charlatans. I have finally received the bike, and it is exactly what others have said. A pile of shit. Cheap plastic parts. Bluetooth not working, making weird noises. Nothing works properly. The battery compartment doesn't close. The phone mount is a joke. I can keep going on and on. I'm just starting at it thinking, you had one job. Make a functional bike? You did everything except that. I wish you had kept it and shoved it. I hope you lose every penny you stole from us. Wow. You can feel it in this one. Wow.
Reevo's social pages, it's just more of the same. But their website is truly damning. A GoDaddy parking page. That's an obituary if I've ever seen one. So what happened here?
Yeah, that is the internet obituary. That's how you know that you're dead on the internet, is if there's a GoDaddy page, or it's like this domain is available for purchase.
Well, let's get to know the Reevo and we'll find out.
Let's see why it sucks.
So right now, the
so far so good.
On, and with great difficulty, I am pedaling it. Can you believe how loud it is?
Dude, that thing is so fucking loud. Oh my god. Dude, you could hear that like all over the neighborhood.
A lot of stuff, and I'm gonna try and break it down. Let's start with the wheels, because I think that's a lot of where it's stemming.
What a piece of crap.
Any bike, even e-bikes, they just roll, right? As soon as you stop pedaling, it just rolls on forever. It's like,
oh, don't tell me he's gonna try and do crazy shit with that.
Every step of the way on this thing, whether or not you're pedaling. Look at this.
Dude, that just sounds like trash.
A normal bike wheel, but it's very much unlike that. A normal bike wheel has spokes, and then there's a hub in the middle, and that hub is extremely reliable. They haven't changed much in 100 years, and a modern hub you can restore to like new condition for $1. They just take these little bearings that you can pop in. This has, I don't know, a bearing the entire way around, and so there's a lot more resistance, and I suspect you can't service it because they don't sell parts for it. The company doesn't exist anymore.
Oh my god.
It's not like you could rob some parts off another hubless wheel. And so let this sink in. The entire premise of the Reevo hubless bicycle is that it lacks one of the most reliable moving parts ever made. Certainly one of the most reliable moving parts on a modern bicycle. And in its place, they replaced it with an unserviceable, heavy, complicated, and noisy hubless wheel. Yet, they're making the claim that this bicycle is revolutionary, that it's got a really smart pedal assist, and that it's really smooth. They even advertise its lightweight core. This is one of the heaviest bicycles I've ever picked up in my life.
Just by looking at it, seeing like him moving around, dude, it just looks heavy.
Underneath this big plastic clamshell is likely just big solid pieces of aluminum and steel. Maybe we'll take it apart later and find that out. But we've got a lot to cover before then, because I haven't even registered the fingerprint scanner or any of the security features.
Oh my god, he's got to register the fingerprint scanner.
So I'm downloading the Reevo app, which still exists.
Watch, it's gonna break. It's not gonna recognize it.
For example, in here, it's supposed to have a SIM card slot so you can GPS track the thing. There is a built-in fingerprint scanner.
There's a SIM card slot? That's pretty cool now.
If you lock it with the fingerprint scanner, there's supposed to be a wheel lock back here that keeps the bike from going. And so I want to be able to use all that. It's asking me to register a new bike. And so let's see how that works. I think we might actually
that guarantee they have like a subscription service and everything.
111.
Oh my god, you can't even connect to it.
Default pairing code. I'm using that. I'm looking on Reddit threads and I can't get this thing paired. And so we're off to a great start. Now, normally I'd say this is no problem because most electric bicycles have a little display screen that tells you how much battery you have left, how fast you're going, what assist mode you're in. But on the Reevo, because it's high tech, they want you to use your smartphone. Everybody loves that. And as you can see here, they give you some adhesive to attach your smartphone to the handlebars. So the phone's all mounted to the handlebars. We got the Reevo app running. Let's start talking about how this thing actually functions as a bike. And one of the first things you're gonna notice when you start riding it after you've absorbed the noise and the terrible ride is how hard it is to stop. I'm gonna go a reasonable speed
down
this
sounds
bridge,
horrible.
and I'm gonna start applying my brakes right here. Let's see how long it takes me to stop. That was a full-on emergency stop. I had both of my entire hands on the brake
that took
levers,
way too long to
gripping them
stop, dude.
as hard as I could.
You are
and it could barely
screwed.
stop the bike. That's really alarming. And given the weight of the bike and the airless tires and just all the sketchiness, it has no business going this fast with brakes like this. Brakes are effectively the most important safety feature on any bicycle, let alone an e-bike that weighs 70 pounds.
You never know when you need to stop, dude.
That $200 bike I bought on Amazon had pretty decent brakes, actually. They were cable actuated disc brakes. This doesn't have a hub, and so it can't have rotors, and so can't have disc brakes. So they're using cheap caliper brakes like you would find on, I don't know, a kid's bike from the early 1990s.
Oh my
except
god.
That bike is stopping a little kid going 5 miles an hour. Oh crap, there's a speed bump. Oh my god, that took all my might. Ugh.
Oh my gosh,
this
horrible
is in fact an e-bike, and so let's
hit
talk
someone
about
on that thing, dude.
An e-bike is supposed to pedal like a normal bicycle and then also have electric assist, and so it should do both. And
that thing is zooming though, I gotta say.
Or sprockets or anything down here. The drivetrain's all inside it, and presumably everything that makes this wheel go kind of is enclosed in here, except on this thing. It is extremely difficult to pedal, very inefficient, and then when you stop pedaling, it stops almost immediately. And so let's be honest, nobody's gonna be using this as an
it doesn't roll
bicycle.
at all.
You're gonna be using electric assist because it is so hard to pedal without it. It's not even
Oh
on the
my
table.
god.
But it's a terrible e-bike too.
Dude.
Okay, so we've been riding
that
this
is
as an e-bike
so
for close to 30
trash.
seconds. I went over that bridge, there's like a little
That is
lip,
horrible.
like after I hit that bump, the back started making.
I'm not even like a bike enthusiast, and I can tell this is an absolute piece of garbage and it sucks. And nobody should buy it. And if you buy it, it's gonna make it really stressful because you're gonna think that, oh wow, so I bought this like smart bike, so it should be like all cooler and like much easier to use and like better for me. Well, nope. Let's try.
Noises. Let's examine this and see if it's something that could ever be repaired. Yeah, listen to that. It's like there's a jump in the wheel. It's done. It's garbage. Right? Where am I going to get replacement parts for this thing? And all I did was ride down a bike.
Who the hell's gonna fix
and
that
hit
thing?
A little bump
the company?
on a bridge. Now,
and charge you like $300
where do we even
for it?
Go from here?
And then on top of that, you have to pay like the. Oh my god, if you send it back to the company, they get it fixed. Dude, that is a bike. You have to send it in like a giant box. You're going to pay like significant shipping costs. I guarantee they're not paying those shipping costs right now for sure. Oh, there's no way.
How do you make it stop? It still goes, so let's keep discovering how bad it is.
This is the worst bike ever. Like, I could buy a $70 bike at Walmart, and I feel like it would ride better than this.
Guys, I had a whole video planned here. Like, I spent money on the bike and I was planning on selling it afterwards. Now it's broken. And then half the things I want to show you don't even work. It's so much worse than I thought. But it's not for lack of trying. They really tried to put a lot of good features on this.
It was more bad than I thought it was, guys.
Whether this is something a bicycle needs. So check it out. The fingerprint scanner over here, you can move it left or right, and it will actually put on signals. To their credit, it's good to have lighting on a bike. That's a good safety feature. Of course, you can't stop, so it doesn't really matter. But it does have
you can't
stop,
so it's like, well, you don't even need a signal because you can't stop the damn bike.
You can put stationary things on them because they're not spinning. So what do you think these little handle things are? These stay just like this when the bike is in motion. It's to carry a bag. They actually made a custom Reevo bag, and it goes inside the wheel. That brings the center of gravity way down.
What the hell, a bag inside of the wheel?
Pretty freaking functional. And so if this was a good bike and I was able to ride it all the time, I would put some kind of big storage container in here.
That's pretty cool.
But of course, it breaks after you hit one bump. And so we can't do
yeah,
that.
It breaks after you hit one bump. Oh, everything is gone. That bag, everything in there is done.
But if it did have pneumatic tires, if they did take air and you had to change one, I don't think you'd have to take the bike apart at all. Look at this. The wheel on the front, it's just attached on one side and it's all open over here. You can access the entire tire. And they've done the same thing on the rear. It's open right over here. So if this was a normal bike, you'd be able to air it down, use a tire lever, and just take the tire straight off. But I'm not really sure what we do here. So let me show you something on the other side of the bike. Oh, it's so heavy. Okay.
Dude, this bike is like... This bike is like taking years off this guy's life right now, dude. Like, you could tell this guy is like a huge bike enthusiast. And this bike is just everything that is not about bikes, man.
So they call this an invisible kickstand because you flip it up and it just melds into the frame. You can't see it at all. Pretty cool styling, actually, but it's a terrible kickstand, I'm sorry to say. Now, it is pretty easy to flip down because you just...
When it comes to the kickstand, it's always about functionality. It's always about the functionality. Because if it doesn't work, then it sucks and it's not usable. It can look cool at once, but the kickstand has to work, man.
Push on the side of the frame and there it goes. But most kickstands, when you put the bike in motion...
Because I remember, what is it? I was that kid before. I remember I had one of my bikes, the kickstand was fucked, so I had to like lean it up on shit. So like all my friends and I would go to like Safeway and shit, and I had to find like a spot against the wall where I could put my bike because the kickstand was broke, and that was a significant inconvenience, you know. So that's what I'm saying. You know, that functionality with the kickstand did.
It goes up. This kickstand locks into place like this and kind of goes in reverse. So I find myself getting on the bike and trying to go and then having the kickstand kind of bind up. But they actually made the wheel lock when the kickstand is engaged. So
the kickstand should go the other way because you should be able to kick back and then go forward. You shouldn't kick forward and then go forward. You kick back and go forward.
When the kickstand is up, this wheel...
And I'm not even a bike dude. This is just how it feels.
When you put the kickstand down, it is locked. And I suppose that if you had the app, it would actually stay locked and not be able to flip up. I don't really know. While the engineers were testing the Reevo, they must have realized how bad the ride was because they put a suspension seat post on it. Does almost nothing to make the ride better.
What the hell?
Oh! I forgot this is all brick. But as you can see,
oh my god, dude, his ass is getting torn up.
And when you push down on it, it gives. Kind of sucks. There are
He said it's all brick.
Oh! I forgot this is all brick. But as
oh my god, his ass is getting destroyed. Oh no.
As you can see, the seat post
that is
has
bad.
A spring in it.
It's
and
all
when you push
brick.
down on it, it gives. Kind of sucks. There are actually pretty good suspension seat posts, like the Thud Buster. This is not that. This is as cheap a suspension seat post as you can get. Now, I did show you before this cool little phone mount because the Reevo is supposed to operate with an app.
Dude, watch your phone fall off and get thrown,
this USB
bro.
port over here, which is of course powered by the battery that makes the bike go.
Yeah, watch Rain get into that thing, dude.
Smart feature. I wish more e-bikes had that because if you have
need a
your
cover
phone
for
mounted
that.
up here, be it horizontally or vertically, you might want to be able to charge it. I guess it would have been
Yeah, so you're gonna have the cable running out, and it's gonna like twist around and stuff, or whatever, and you gotta plug it in. This is such a really bad
Kind of
design,
nice if
like all around, like functionality, like look, weight. Like they did a really bad job with this bike. And again, I'm not even a bike guy. Like this just looks like a piece of garbage to me.
this was Type
I
C,
would not
but
want to
I
ride
mean, what
this.
are we really expecting at this point? So good thinking. That's one good feature of the Reevo. And you can't ignore the styling. That's the Reevo's killer feature, and to their credit, they did a good job here. It's really striking.
It looks
It's
very
the most unique
different,
bike I've
very
ever
modern.
reviewed, for sure. But I can't tell whether people are looking at me because of that or because it's so noisy. And so I'm gonna take it into town
Exactly,
and park it in a
dude.
couple
They're
of
probably like,
places,
"What the
and we're
fuck
gonna
is
see what
that
people's
thing?"
reactions are. All right, so we survived getting downtown. I'm walking it down the sidewalk, and I discovered something
That thing sounds like a freaking Prius, dude.
terrifying about this bike. So when you push it along, the pedals move because it's just not very mechanically
The
sound.
pedals
And so
move
if you
with
push it
it. Oh
fast
my
enough,
god.
the pedals actually engage the pedal assist, and it's a chain reaction. The bike keeps going. Watch this.
No,
Okay, so you're walking
no
your bike and you
way.
kind of jog across the street a
Keeps
little bit.
going.
And it kicks in. And so you might say, Seth, just turn it off.
What? It just keeps going.
Bike and you kind of
Oh
jog
my
across the street a little bit.
god. Bro.
And it kicks
Dude.
in. And so you might say, Seth, just
It's
turn
dangerous.
it off. I can't turn it off. I tried. I tried holding down the power button on the battery.
Bike on the loose. Bike on the loose. Get it.
Everything. The only way to do that is to take the battery out, but I need the keys to take it out, and I don't have the keys on me. So this thing is just a death trap.
Oh my god.
This happens to be
This is
the
an
worst
actual
bicycle ever
death
made.
trap.
Oh no!
I like the way it looks. First thing I do is put me a big seat on that thing. I can't stand them seats that go up the crack of your butt.
Both on and off camera today, I've gotten a lot of reactions
It did crack this guy's ass when he was on the bricks. It cracked it hard.
from people, and most people ask, how fast does it go? People who don't know bikes, they notice that it looks crazy, but they can't quite pinpoint what it is. They're just like, that's a crazy bike, how fast does it go? And so we must consider who ordered these. I don't think it was bicycling enthusiasts, it was people who saw it and said, that thing looks cool, that thing looks awesome.
Exactly.
Maybe that price
That's
tag is
the
worth
that
it. And yeah, we go back to the
when you're a business selling this kind of stuff, the clientele that you want is people who want those kinds of things, but know absolutely jack about it at all. Like they don't know a single thing. And why that works so well is so that you can quote unquote educate them on what works the best, and then you can just empty their pockets with that. So yeah, that is the ideal customer for businesses like this. Is people who have no idea or concept of anything about it and know that they need it or that they really, really want it.
comments and we see what those customers think now. We got ripped off. This was a scam. But really, was it? Were they trying to scam people? I don't think so. So again,
I think they were just
ended up
idiots who made a
making
piece of
this, and
crap.
it was delivered to some people, and most of the people who did get their Reevo complained about it. They complained about the noise. They complained about all the things that I'm complaining about today. But to their credit, Reevo tried to correct some of those issues. They made
tried.
several batches of them, and they kept trying to fix different things about them. And so I don't know what batch this is from, but the later your batch, the better the Reevo. And so people are like, okay, the $6.7 million, they just ran away with that. I don't see how they could have done that because they actually produced the bike. And so there was engineering, there was tooling, there was order fulfillment. And it looks like
They
spent
did
a lot
try.
on marketing and
From what it
reputation
seems like,
management
they
because
actually
every
did
single
try.
article about this thing is positive.
It just ended up
And I
sucking.
don't see how that could be legitimate journalism. And so for people that are
I don't think they tested it enough because they would have found out if they had like regular people who like to ride bikes. If they did, they should have did like a focus group with like bike people and had them keep them for like 1 to 6 months, and they could have got like some real feedback, you know, from people that ride bikes and love them and talk about them every day. That would have been very smart, but you know, they just said fuck that. So
They're saying that this was a scam, that it was vaporware. That's just objectively not true. I think it was unethical. I think it was wildly irresponsible. But I don't think they were trying to scam people. I think they really thought that this was going to take off and be successful, even though it is the worst bicycle in the whole world.
Yeah, there was not enough testing.
So
it looks like they were trying to push out a dream too fast.
A prototype that never made it out of the prototype phase. They just started manufacturing these prototypes and sending.
The thing about this bike, though, is that now they see all the significant major mistakes with this one. So this company, if they wanted to, they have all the knowledge of what went wrong before. So they can really, with all that knowledge they have now, start from zero with that knowledge. They'll be able to make like a bike that people can actually use that won't suck. So I hope that they can absorb all this information and then be able to adapt and make the product better based off of that. And of course, they're going to have to change the process in which they make the bikes and what goes inside and the material and such. And especially they're going to have to change the wheel design. But this, they still can get something out of this. So I think that Reevo should keep moving forward. It seems like they genuinely tried with this bike. It's just there was not enough testing. They didn't get enough feedback from people. All the feedback that they needed, it looks like they got after the product actually released. So you need to get that before it actually goes onto the official market.
Amount to people. This is what a product would look like from a legitimate company before it goes through 3 or 4 rounds of polishing to fix all the problems. And so if you were a fly on the wall behind the scenes, what you would probably see is them just rushing it out the door, just justifying it. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's got a really bad ride, but we put that suspension seat post on it, so it's good now. Runs like a prototype. It's as easy to find replacement parts for as a prototype. Look, if you sign into a crowdfunding site and you back something, you're taking a risk, especially if it's
definitely
something
are,
because
there might not be replacement parts.
But just disappearing and leaving all your backers in the dark, that's pretty unethical. That's pretty crappy. And so we can only hope that the
Oh, well, they left all their backers in the dark, so yep, yeah, they rug pulled.
makers of this bike rise from the ashes to sue me, because then they'll be revealing themselves to all their backers.
This is the worst bike ever.
And so is the Reevo really the worst production bicycle ever made? Well, let's be objective and just go by what I've experienced today. It's loud, it's heavy. You can't turn it off, apparently. It has a terrible ride thanks to the airless tires. It's extremely difficult to pedal. You can't get replacement parts for it. The motor appears to kick on whenever it feels like, and actually, if you push it fast enough, it starts a chain reaction.
Oh, I love that clip. Oh my god, look at him. Look at him, dude. Look, he is so panicked. It's like, oh.
Motor appears to kick on whenever it feels like, and actually, if you push it fast enough, it starts a chain reaction that just sets the bicycle in perpetual motion. Actually, I wonder what happens if we just do that and let go of it.
Oh, it's gone. Dude, that is gone. That is gone, bro. Oh my god. It ran a lap. Oh my god.
So I've spent a week now with the Reevo, and it's the ultimate collector's bike. I'm not so sure I want to ghost ride this thing again. It looks insane. It's interesting. It has a story. There's a whole community of people trying to keep these things running, and it's got a whole bunch of Easter eggs, like this brown piece of tape over here. What do you suppose this is covering up? Well, you can see they color match this tape to the frame very poorly to cover up the company name. Beno, the parent company of Reevo, and one could imagine that shortly after they made this mold, they realized that the project was going south, and they wanted to distance their company name from it. Well, here it is out to, I don't know how many people are going to see this video. Crowdfunding projects are risky. A lot of them fail. People know that before they go into it, but there's an ethical way to fail, and then there's just leaving all your backers in the dark, wondering what happened. And so knowing they were going to do their backers dirty, they covered their name up with a piece of tape so that nobody would ever know. Now, on the other hand, if you own a Reevo and you've somehow been keeping it running, trading parts with other owners, I think that's cool. That's the kind of masochistic bike ownership that I can get behind. The Reevo's a head-turner. It's a concept bike, a prototype that somehow made it out to the public. And it is completely insane that it exists. But I hope you found this video.
Wow, that is the biggest piece of crap I have seen in a long time. Hands down the worst bicycle. I would not ride that thing, dude. This thing looks freaking dangerous. It looks loud. Oh my god.